Wow. You're live for the third time today. Yay! So we're hoping that we manage to fix our internet connection and that you guys will be able to sign in. We're going to go ahead and wait a moment. I just posted the link in the group, and Farka Zuzana is right there. And Dina is hopefully also trying to join us. So there are two viewers. Are you viewing it now? You're not? Well, this is still working, which is a record for today. Yay! So 0 viewers at the moment. That's not a good sign at all. All right, okay, so here we go. We're going to get started. Hopefully this thing will be recorded, so even those who couldn't join. Yes, Dina made it. Awesome stuff. Sorry about that, guys. First, our router didn't want to work. Then the mobile hotspot didn't work. Then I switched to another laptop. Now it seems to be working. So, who knows? Technology. So here we go. We'll get started. Not to get started, but we'll get started with the class. Today's workout is basically technically an EMOM, where every second minute is going to be a full resting minute. And Simon and Leon are here too. Oh, look at that. 4 viewers, actually. So every second minute is a full rest, and every odd minute, 1, 3, 5, and so on, you will be working for a full 60 seconds to try to complete as many reps as possible of 4 different workouts. Now, today's workout is called abs for days. But that's kind of more of a bit of a catchphrase because it might not give you an extremely huge ab burn. My goal is going to be to try to work a little bit on those core muscles, a little bit down, lower down in your abs. But we'll talk about that once we get there. So the 4 movements we have today is going to be in this order. 1 minute of mountain climbers, then 1 minute rest. Second one is going to be 1 minute of breakdancers. I think that's a really cool name for a cool exercise. Then 1 minute rest. I was expecting 6-pack. Yup. Then the third movement is going to be a kickback, which again I'll show you in a second. And the fourth movement is going to be a no push-up burpee. So you get down in the plank, get up with a little jump. We try to complete as many repetitions of each as possible. And this is going to be a 23-minute workout total, 24 if you count the last resting period, but that one's potentially going to be a little bit longer than 1 minute. And we're going to get started. Yep. So we'll basically go through all of these movements. I would like you to try to pay attention. There will be a few little nuances here and there to really make sure that we are training the right muscles and using the right muscles for these exercises. Something we really, really don't want is for you to feel your back in any of the movements. If you feel your abs, good. If you feel it a little bit lower, closer to your waist and your lower abs, spot on. Here we go. What I want to do is most likely I need to, on this laptop, I need to change the angle a little bit. Like this. Like so. Turn it a tiny little bit. All right. So guys and girls, we are going to start on the ground. We're going to lie down on our back like this. And what I'd like you to do is to put your hands right here on your hips. Like you were standing up to try to find that soft part between your ribs and your hips. Put your hands right there and we'll lean back. We're gonna try to breathe in a way that we push these fingers out. It's gonna look like this. No, this is not really visible. I'm gonna stand up first. So we'll try to breathe in a way that we push these fingers out. In through your nose, out through your mouth. And relax. In through the nose, out through the mouth. So we'll do the same thing down on the floor. You can put your feet up first, and here we go, 10 breaths. Try to expand your belly as much as you can and relax everything on a long exhale. Try to expand not just up towards the ceiling, but also out on the sides and into the ground, so 360 degrees. Great stuff. On the next 10 breaths, what we'll do, we'll inhale through the nose, expand, and as you exhale, I want you to push even further out. As you inhale, you try to hold it. As you exhale, you push even further out. I'm going to come a little closer to the camera just to show you what I mean, and then we'll do it on the ground. So I'm going to put the hands on the hips. We'll inhale, expand everything. As I exhale, I push it even more. As I inhale, hold it, and as I exhale, I try to push even further out. Try to exhale through almost like you had a straw in your mouth, like that, like perched lips, I would like to say. So 10 breaths. Here we go. Still keeping your fingers right there in the softer part, which should be pretty hard at the moment. Inhale, push it out, exhale, and drive it even further out to the side. Your lower back in the ground. Make sure you don't hold your breath. And relax. So what you feel right here as you push out, ideally, will be your obliques, an extremely important part of our core muscles. So we want to feel this, the lower part. So if you have a six-pack, if you imagine you have a six-pack, on my imaginary six-pack, quarantine life, terrible. Wife is a baker. Anywho, so on my imaginary six-pack, I've got 1, 2. This is the top 4. But what I want to really feel is going to be the bottom 2, as well as here on the sides. They will give a lot of structure, a lot of stability for your core. Now, we worked on this a little bit. I almost start every session with this type of breathing, every training session, but we now just try to kind of feel how you can engage these muscles here on the side. From here, we're going to go into plank hold, and then we'll do a few mountain climbers just to get that movement going. So in your plank hold, what I would like you to do, put your hands right below your shoulder. That's going to be the most stable position if you can have your wrist right under your shoulder. Don't put them out too wide, that's a little bit weak, and try to not go forward either. Those are the two common mistakes. I'm going to put my hands down on the ground, get into my plank. Now, I'd like you to do 5 straight arm push-ups. Lower yourself down, push away, don't bend your arm. And then hold the last one in the top position. I want you to hold this top position for your plank in your mountain climbers all the time. Your back should be strong, your arms, your hands should be pushing in the ground to get that nice and straight upper back position. From here, I'm going to try to pull my toes a little bit towards my hands. So I'm creating a ton of pressure in the front side of the body, and I shouldn't feel anything in the back. To finish it off, we're going to go ahead, squeeze the butt, and relax. All right, so as we talked about, as we've mentioned it before, surely in classes, that plank should work your core, your front side, not a little bit the abs, but definitely not the back. And we have this time to time, the people say they feel their back. That's because the front is not engaged properly. If I imagine that I want to try to pull my hand down towards my toes, I can create a lot more tension. I can easily create a lot of tension in the front side of the body. So what we'll do 10, we'll first set up hands under, pull the toes a little bit, squeeze the butt, and then we'll do 10 slow mountain climbers, alternating between left and right for 5 reps, just one leg at a time. Okay, so set up, push away, pushing the ground, try to pull the hands towards the toes, squeeze the butt, lift one leg up, and then the other. We try to get the knee as close to the elbow as possible and relax. Okay. A common mistake to kind of turn this into more of a butt kick type of run, but what I really want you to try to get to is going to be bringing your knee close to your elbow. So that's going to be our mountain climber, and you'll do 60 seconds, as many reps as you can. I want you to rest as little as possible in every working set. You'll have a full minute of rest in between. So if you want to go slower on the mountain climbers, but that will allow you to complete the full 60 seconds, instead of going really, really fast and having to rest a ton, then I want you to choose the slower version and try to work continuously for 60 seconds, okay? We're now gonna go ahead and try to speed this up a little bit. It's gonna look a little bit more like a running motion, but the idea is the same. We'll set up, push the hands in the ground, pull the toes a little closer to the hands, squeeze the butt, and let's go. Okay. That will be your fast version. Now, what I would like you to try to think about is to also keep your hip fairly close to the ground. So nothing else should move apart from your leg, from that beautiful, perfect plank position that we found in the beginning. Common mistake that we see is lifting hips too high. This is too much movement again, disengaging the core. You think you're doing a core exercise, but you aren't really using the right muscles. So don't do that. Try to keep your hip lower and closer to the ground. Just stay in that original plank position. We're going to do one more set of 10 mountain climbers. Set up, pull down, squeeze the butt, let's go. Beautiful. And that is our mountain climber. You can choose to go slow, you can choose to go fast. I want you to try to work for those 60 seconds continuously. Second movement, Breakdancer. Now, don't imagine anything like spinning on your head. That would be pretty CrossFit, but we're not going to do that today. Maybe in another class. This is going to be breakdancing 101, the basics. So to build up to this movement, we're going to start in, I like to call it like a bear, hold a bear. Like if you've ever done a bear crawl with me, it's going to be a plank variation almost, but we'll just hold this. So I want you to come on your hands and knees. Oh yeah, tiger, sorry, not bear. Too many animals. I like bears. I just try to call everything a bear. So we'll put the hands under the shoulders again. We'll curl the toes under, and we'll lift our knees up from the ground 1 inch, 2 centimeters, not more than that, and hold. Again, I want a strong upper back, so push in the ground. Keep the knees close to the ground. This should be a nice flat back position with your hips and your knees about 90 degrees. We'll hold this for another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. So from here, we're going to go ahead and do 10 shoulder taps each side, because for that breakdancer movement, you'll have to lift one hand off the ground. So I want you to feel stable. So put the hands in the ground, curl the toes under, lift the knees up about 2 centimeters from the ground, actively push in the ground, and we're going to go ahead and perform 10 shoulder taps. It is actually a little bit harder than your classic plank shoulder tap because you can't engage your booty to stabilize the whole body, or at least it's a lot harder. So you really need to rely on the obliques and actively pushing with your hand in the floor. So that's our shoulder tap. Now for our breakdancer, we want to lift one hand and one leg off the ground. So we'll do that, just lifting up one leg and one hand at a time, opposite side, so left hand, right leg. It's going to look like this. So I want you to do 5 each side, 10 total. Try to focus on staying as stable as possible, which you can achieve by pushing the hand that stays on the ground really hard in the floor, engaging more muscles in the body. So here comes a trick for our breakdancer. What we want to do is lift our leg up from the ground and feed it across the body, reach across in the front. It's going to look like this. I'll lift it up into my tiger hold crawl position, lift the hand, turn, move that leg out forward, bring it back, switch to the other side, and back, just like that. Now what we want to do still is to keep the hips almost at the same height. So if I go ahead and lift it up like there, it's a little bit easier. If I need to try to keep it close to the ground, it's a little bit harder because you need to tuck that leg in as you turn and use more of those core muscles. So we'll go nice and slow. We'll perform 5 reps on each side. Always make sure you've got a solid setup position. Push your hands in the ground. Lift, turn, back. Other side, turn. Is that it? So that's going to be our breakdancer movement. Intense on the shoulders. You need to continuously press in the ground And if you keep your hips low, you will also feel that the core muscles need to work on tucking the leg in, similar to your mountain climber. Now, I think I'll be moving at pretty much this pace, what we just did. But if you want to, you can also speed this one up a little bit. That will look like this. Just moving a lot quicker.
I'm sure Dina's voice will be good at that.
I'm sure Leon's gonna be good at this. If only increase the intensity or the speed once you feel like you can perform the movement slowly. Okay, do not compromise in the form just to go faster, just to get more repetition. Often, when you train your core, spending time under tension is actually more useful than going fast. So again, I want you to move for 60 seconds without having to stop. We've got 4 rounds of each movement. Do we? No, 3. We've got 3 rounds of each movement. So if you, my recommendation would be to try and start slowly and maybe add a little bit of speed each round, a little bit faster movement each round. Try to challenge yourself towards the end. Sweet. Quick water break. And we're back. We're gonna sit back down on the ground. This is a cool class. A lot of sitting on the ground. And our kickback, let me just show you first. Our kickback is gonna look something like this. It's basically a very small portion of our burpee. You know what you're saying? I can't read it from here. This is tiny.
Lol, the breakdance will suck.
Yeah. So for this kickback exercise, I really like to try and engage those low abs with a few leg lifts to practice. So the stronger these lower abs are, the closer you will be able to jump with your feet, because you can kind of fold yourself in half like a V-up or a nice toes to bar movement. So what we're looking for is trying to put the hands on the ground somewhere in front of your hips. Okay, I don't really care where it is. Ideally, at some point, it's going to be next to your knees. I have long arms, so that helps me, but it shouldn't be behind, right? I don't want you to lean back like this. I want you to put your hands and also your shoulder in front of your hips. We will start with 10 single leg lifts each side. Push your hand in the ground, push your palm in the ground, create a ton of tension in the front, and we'll just go like this. 10 little lifts. And go ahead and switch to the other side. Keep continuously pushing in the ground with your hand. This is going to translate nicely into our kickbacks. And we'll do another set of 10 each side. Push your hands in the ground. Try to keep both legs engaged, as in squeeze, flex, and point the toe. That will help you create a little more tension, and it's going to make this exercise a little easier. We're now going to go ahead and make this quite a lot harder. We'll try to lift both legs at the same time. This is a fairly difficult exercise, but it's a really, really great way to train to get closer, to get better with your V-ups as well as your toes to bars. So hands on the ground, palms pushing in the ground still. Hands have to be in front of your hips, shoulders ideally rounded and kind of crunched over. You don't need a straight back on this. Hands on the ground, lift it 10 times. Relax. And if all works out well, and you've got the strength and the feeling in those lower abs, that's what you should feel on this. Now, often, I know at this point, there are many things happening. It could be your abs burning, it could be your quads and your hips cramping up, which is normal in the beginning. Then I want you to go back to the single leg version, but we'll do another set of 10. Again, we're trying to feel this in the lower abs. Here we go. Pushing the ground. Wonderful. So we're now going to go ahead, stand up, and try that kickback movement. Now, just like on the ground that our seated leg lift drill, you need constant pressure in your palms on the ground to help you lift your hips higher and kind of help you fold yourself in half. If you lose the tension in the back and you don't keep pushing in the ground, your range of motion is going to get a lot shorter. You will not have the same sort of leverage to bring the legs closer. So we'll put our hands on the ground. Try to get as close to your feet as possible. I have fairly good mobility here, but you might be a little bit further forward. That's not a problem. And all we're going to do is jump into a plank. Pushing your hands in the ground really hard. We'll jump forward. We'll jump back. You can have a tiny little bit, almost like a kip. Hips go down and pop them back up. Back and pop. Back, hold, down, and up. And relax for a moment, right? So it's perfectly fine to have almost like a little pull-up kip or any sort of kip, having your hips fold out a tiny bit and then up. You will still need to create that tension to be able to pop back up, and you need to push your hands in the ground. So now let's try to do this at full speed, which means we're not going to stop in the plank position. Hands on the ground, we'll jump back, jump forward. Jump back, jump forward, jump back, forward. One more, and rest. All right, so that's our kickback movement, and it looks fairly simple, but you actually need to really focus on that landing position or bottom position in your plank, because if you end up dropping your chest, you lose a lot of tension. If you don't tighten your butt at the right time, you will drop a lot lower. So you don't want to jump back and then just land almost in the bottom. As soon as you jump back, you need to tighten your back side. That will allow you to bounce back from that tiny bit of an arch. So we're going to do another set of 5. I want you to focus on staying as tight as possible in that plank position. Here we go. You don't necessarily have to keep your legs straight if you don't have the mobility in your hamstrings yet, right? If you want to, you can go ahead and bend your knees slightly in case your jump is too short. So your hamstrings are quite tight and you just go from here. That's really not great either. So then I want you to bend your knees slightly, jump back into a full plank, jump forward with your knees slightly bent, jump back, jump forward. The goal is to try to make that distance between your starting position and your plank as long as possible. So try to get the feet as far back as possible. That is movement number 3. Movement number 4 is going to be kind of similar, but we will extend it to a no push-up burpee, right? That's what I said, yeah. No push-up burpee. So it is going to involve the same movement, this kickback. We'll just put the hand on the ground, jump back to forward and up. I want you to make sure you try to jump up and not forward in the last movement. That means I'd like you to get your feet again fairly close to your hands. So if I jump back, jump here, I'll have to jump forward almost. I don't really have control over it. So then I want you to jump back, jump close with your knees a little bit back, and do a little jump upwards. We'll do 3 of these, okay? I know everyone can do a burpee, but I just want you to avoid going all the way down to the ground in this exercise. Here we go. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Done. All right, yes, so Sabrina's gonna set up our timer. It's gonna be visible right here on the ottoman, which is the extended part of your couch, just so you know. So take a moment for yourself. We'll give everyone a minute to take a quick bathroom break. Set up your music, have a sip of water, and get ready. We'll have the timer right here. It's set to 12 intervals of 1 minute work, 1 minute rest. In each of the working intervals, we want to do as many reps as possible. First minute, mountain climbers. Second minute, breakdancers. Third minute, kickbacks. Fourth minute, no push-up burpee. Your rest starts now, not rest. Break. Go, use the bathroom. I'll come a little bit more forward for the breakdancer, please.
I can also still move a little bit. No problem. It's really nice. The movement's nice. You already commented anything, so I guess we're.
I think we're pretty much good to go.
Yeah.
All right, team. So we're gonna get started. This guy's gonna beep on every minute. Hopefully you can hear that through the microphone, but if not, we'll also tell you when to stop, I guess. All right, Jushi is ready. I'm pretty sure Dina is ready, and the boys. So we'll start in 10 seconds with the mountain climbers. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go. $20. 2, 1, rest. That was a long minute. Ooh.
Yes.
1 minute rest, guys. Well, 35 seconds. The second one is going to be our breakdancers. In the beginning, if you're new to this movement, just move nice and slow and try to hold yourself up off the ground for a full minute. And then later on, we can try to add some intensity.
5 seconds.
Get ready. 2, 1, go. Twenty seconds to go. And rest. Whew. That was fun. That was quite good.
It's also a shoulder workout today, no?
Yeah. So our next one is going to be the kickbacks. Hope you didn't have a lot of breakfast before this. And again, just want you to try to keep moving continuously. Don't go too fast. Feel free to bend the legs and focus on that plank position. That's kind of the hardest part here, is to land and instantly get a nice and tight position. 5 seconds. 2, 1, go. Fifteen seconds. And rest. Not bad, not bad. Oh. Definitely slower than I was planning to go on these.
Well, you said first round go slow, right? You said 2 rounds to speed it up. No worries.
Yeah. The rain seems like it's slowly stopping, but it's getting really dark.
I actually look forward to the jumping break now. On the burpee there.
You know, you can rest your shoulders a little bit on those burpees. 10 seconds, guys. No push-up burpee for 1 minute. 3, 2, 1, go. 15 seconds. First round done. 1 minute rest.
Which one was the hardest for you?
I think the mountain climbers for sure.
Yeah, I think so. Because you're really under tension for a full minute.
Yeah. I wonder if Juji is still alive. She's not texting in the breaks.
I think you know all of it as always.
Yeah. Full send every minute, every time. All right, guys, mountain climbers starting in 3 seconds. Let's go. Twenty seconds. Ten seconds. And rest. Ah. It's okay. It was it became a bit more of a crawl than a run. Next up, we're gonna go for our break dancers. We'll start in about 20 seconds. Full send. Get ready. 5 seconds. 2, 1, start. Twenty seconds. Oh. Rest. 1 minute. I think I'm getting tired. I almost fell back a couple of times.
You're also taking a part of your run out there.
Yeah. All right, guys, next up, we've got our kickbacks. We're starting in 10 seconds. No, 20.
Ian has declared it as too hard and is making a puzzle now.
Go. "15 seconds.
Juji is with Liam. Just a shame you won't have any puzzles in Cyprus, Juji, no? I'd be surprised if you had one around.
No push-up burpees are in the next round, guys. We'll start in 13 seconds. Let's go.
Halfway. Seconds.
Two rounds done. One more round to go, guys. Only 4 minutes of work left.
I'm sure Judy's gonna hop straight into the sea after this.
Oh.
Did we say it's raining here? She posted a picture of 35 degrees yesterday.
Really?
Feet in the water. Yes. We can also put our feet in the water outside. 8 seconds.
2, 1, mountain climbers. Try to get those knees up to the elbows. Doesn't matter if you go a little slower, keep moving.
Seconds.
3, 2, 1, time. Whew. Hi guys, we're on the last round of the breakdancers. If you want, you can give your own flair to the movement if you have any breakdancing aspirations.
Spin on the head.
Spin on the head. Got about 10 seconds. Remember to continuously push your hand in the ground. 1, go. Keep your knees close to the ground as you transition from one side to the other.
Seconds. And rest.
Two more minutes of break to go, guys. We'll continue with the kickbacks. Right. The burpees are the relaxing time here. Okay, guys, kickbacks coming up in a few seconds. 2, 1, let's go. Okay.
20 seconds. So as the burpees are the easiest, all out now.
One last minute, guys. One last minute.
Twenty seconds rest remaining. 10.
This is way sweatier than I expected.
3,
2, 1, go.
halfway. 20 seconds. 10 seconds.
'That was fun and painful.
Hope you guys are as sweaty as we got.
Guys, thank you so much for joining, despite of the technical difficulties in the start. I'm really, really glad you made it. Thank you, Juicy, Dina, Simon, for hanging in there.
I think someone else wait for viewers. Well, not an anonymous person.
Yeah, whoever was here, if you're doing this later, hope you enjoyed it. It was really, really cool to have you guys. I think Leon probably made a good call to abandon this workout halfway. But thank you so much for everyone who was hanging in there. We're gonna let you go now. It's already 10 past 10. Started a little bit late because of our internet connection issues. Hope you'll have a great Sunday, guys. And I hope to see you in the box very soon. But we'll keep doing these as long as we have to make sure that everyone can work out at home or wherever you are. All right?
Sushi, I need a picture with you.
Oh, yeah. Selfie time.
Get ready.
Good job. Thank you, guys. Have a good one. Bye, Simon. Bye, Dina. Bye, Juji.